Commons are called as a OER licensing, the most developed alternative licensing approach. This is what declared by the Larry Lace, which is he only declared this as a Creative Commons. So this is a user-friendly licensing for digital material or otherwise the non-digital material which will be declared as a open educational resources. This is a website which called as a which is http://creativecommons.org/licensing, where all the Creative Commons licensings are available for use. So Creative Commons, which is declared as a CC. So generally the copyright materials are declared as a C within the circle. So here if anybody can see this symbol CC, then this is called as a Creative Commons. So the Creative Commons licensing or CC licensing are not the alternative to the copyright licensing. The creators to distribute their content to the wide audience and specifically and the creative manners in which the work can be used while still maintaining their copyright, and make the copyright content more active by ensuring that the content can be redeveloped easily. All the CC licensing have common features, that is, help the creator or licensor retain the copyright while allowing others to copy, distribute and make some uses of their work, at least non-commercial, ensure the licensor get the credit for their work, the work around the world and the last as long as the applicable to the copyright laws, because they are built on the copyright. And these common features serve as a baseline on top of which the licensor can choose to grant additional permission when deciding how they want their work to be used. There are around 6 Creative Commons licensings are available. One is CC BY. The CC BY means that attribution is CC BY. This licensing allows the others to distribute, remix, tweak and build upon their work even commercially as long as they credit you for original creator. The most accommodating of this licensing is offered and recommended for maximum dissemination and use of the licensed material. So Creative Commons CC BY is allow anybody, if any author declare their content as a CC BY, then the user can distribute, remix, retweak and build upon the work even commercially, but the one condition is that the user should give the credit to the original creator. So there should be a credit, they have to mention their name, that means this content is developed by this particular author. So that is the condition using this CC BY. This is recommended, why this licensing is recommended or why the author is recommended to declare their content as a CC BY is that this can be disseminated maximum use of their material. So next creative licensing is CC BY SA, that is share alike CC BY SA. SA means share alike. This license let others to remix, tweak and build upon their work even commercial purpose as long as they credit and licensing their new content, new creation under the identical term. That means the author, if they want to use the CC BY material and create the new content, that content also should have the same license, that is CC BY SA. This often compared to the copyleft, free and open source software licensing. All the new work based on the content will carry the same licensing. So the any derivative work will also have the commercial use. This licensing is used in the Wikipedia also. In some of the institutions, they are using this CC by SA licensing. The next two licensing are like CC by ND, that is non-derivative. This allow the user to redistribute commercially and non-commercial, but they will not change the content. That means the creator has declared as a CC by ND material for their content, for their developed content. Then the user, whoever use this content, they can use the content for redistribution even commercially or non-commercially, but unaltered form. So they cannot change the content, but they have to give the credit to the original author. So there is a two condition here. One is the user should duly credit to the author. Another one is the content should not be altered. They should be used as it is. The next license is CC by NC. That means non-commercial. This license let the others to remix, tweaked and built upon their work non-commercially. They should not claim any commercially. They could not make money out of this content. So non-commercial purpose, as long as they have to give the acknowledge or give the credit to the original creator. And so this will be the two condition here, that is non-commercial purpose, and also they can give the they have to give the credit to the author. So that is the condition here. Example for the non-commercial CC by NC. So UK Open University, they have used their content as a non-commercial purpose. So one can use their content for teaching learning purpose, not for the commercial purpose. So that's why they have declared their material in the non-commercial form. So another license is called as a attribution non-commercial share alike. That means CC by NCSA. So non-commercial share alikes. This license allow the users to use the OER content declared as a NCSA, and this material can be remixed, retweaked, built upon their work in the non-commercial formats, as long as they credit you and they license their new content also the identical term. That means the new, if they want to remix, retweak and build upon the new content, then the author should give the credit to the original author, and then the license also same the what they have, the original author has declared, that is CC by SA. The new content should also have the same licensing, that is called CC by NCSA. Last licensing, which is called as a non-commercial no derivative, that is CC by NCND. This is most restrictive license. One can they cannot modify the content which is declared as a CC by NCND and non-commercial purpose also. That means the content can be used as it is, non-commercial purpose. They should not get the money from out of this content, as long as they have to give the credit to the authors. There should be a condition. There are three conditions here. One is the user should provide the credit to the author. Second, it should not be a non-commercial. They cannot make money from this content, and non-derivative, that means they cannot modify this content. That the user should use as it is and no commercial on this content. So for example, a non-commercial, no derivative. So this WIPO, they have declared their content in the non-commercial and NCND, that means non-commercial, no derivative. This is a free of charge, no commercial and non-derivative, that means they cannot edit also. They only can read it and they can redistribute this content to the others for teaching learning purpose without modifying, without altering the content. Then whenever we are using this content, one should give the credential to the credit to the author. So that is the another condition here. JSC, they have declared their content as a NCND, that means non-commercial, non-derivative. NCND they have declared. One can able to see under that bottom line of the website, they have declared as a that CC by NCND. So there are another licensing, that Creative Commons licensing, which called as a public domain tool, which is called as a public domain. You can see that the O symbol with a cross and inside the round symbol. This is this is the licensing symbol for public domain. So the public domain, which is called as another, we can call it as a CC tool also. There's a no right reserved, which is called as a CC0. The public domain tools enable the author and the copyright owners who wants to declare their work to the worldwide public domain for their use. So there is a no copyright reserve. That licensor is declared that no whoever using this content, even they can use, modify, alter everything without giving the credential to the author also. So they are not minding that the content, whoever declared, the creator said that declared that the content can be used even without giving the credential to the author. So this is like one can declare also the public domain material, or otherwise the public domain material will be automatically comes after the death of the author in particular years. For example, in India, the public domain, the content will be considered as a public domain, place it in the public domain when the author, any copyrighted material, the author, after death of the author, it will come, the royalty will be coming to their family. Then after 60 years, it will be declared as a public domain material. So after death of the 60 years after death of the author will consider as a public domain material. So in every year, the January 1st will be considered as a public domain day. So the content will be coming under the public domain platform. So one can search in the Google public domain content. So there is a website called as a public domain website, where you can find the many public domain content are available. Some books, materials are available for use. So this the diagram explains this, what is the least restrictive and most restrictive use of the Creative Commons. So public domain and CC public domain is a less restrictive, which is a very easy to use if you can find the public domain content. Okay, that is a very restrictive. There is no find this whether this will be coming under the licensing and all. Easy to use and easy. Only thing is we have to find the public domain content to use it. And second is a CC BY. Here in CC BY, one can declare, one have to give the credit to the author. After that, you can modify, reuse, repurposing, alter, and you can also modify the licensing also. Only thing is we have to give the credit to the author. Second one is a CC BY SA, which is called, there is a share alike. So there are two conditions available here. One is give the credit to the author. Second one is the new content should also have the same licensing, that is called the CC by SA. Third one is CC by NC, which is called non-commercial. So we have to give the credit to the author because attribution is there, credit to the author, and non-commercial purpose. So CC by NC. And next one is CC by NCSA, which is non-commercial. Saralike, we have to use the same licensing and also give the credit to the author. The next the most restricted licensing are CC/ND, because we cannot modify, as it is we have to use it, and CC by NC/ND, that is a non-commercial, non-derivative. And lastly, the copyright material. Copyright material, yes, definitely we have to get the permission from the author to use it. The other licensing, like a Creative Commons licensing from public domain to CC by NC/ND, one can use the content without getting the permission, because the condition is we have to give the credit to the author. We no need to get the permission from the author, because author is declared that you can use the content without getting my permission, but only then you have to give the credit to me. That's all they have declared. But when coming to the copyright material, if you want to take the copyright material, we have to take from particular document only. As it is, we can take 50 words within code. Otherwise, you have to refer by giving the in-text reference and also by giving the reference, citing the material. If you want to use their figure or image or tables and all, we have to get the permission from the author to use when it is declared in the CC, that is C, that is the copyright content. So this is declared, and one can say from less restrictive to most restricted for the summary of the open licensing. And one can have this type of permission, this table explain that what are the licensing can be used for the commercial purpose, can be created for the, one can create a new version of it. So CC by, which is called as a CC by attribution, if the content is declared as a CC by, then that can be used for commercial purpose, and also you can create a new version of that particular content. Then secondly, CC by SA, we can use it for commercial use, but yes, we can modify and create a new content, but we have to give under the same licensing, that is CC by SA. So new content should also have the same license. That is a condition here whenever we are using CC by SA. And non-derivative, that is CC by ND, we can use for the commercial purpose, but we cannot create from that particular content. And CC by NC, non-commercial, we cannot use for commercial purpose, because that they have declared as a non-commercial, and we can create a new content. For the new content must have non-commercial, but it can be under any non-commercial licensing. That means the new content can be CC by NC, CC by NCSA, and CC by NC ND also. So non-commercial, so declaration. And non-commercial Saralike, we cannot use it for commercial purpose. Yes, we can create a new content using this licensing. Suppose if any author declared non-commercial Saralike, then one can modify that content. The new content should have the same license like non-commercial Saralike license. The last one is a non-commercial, no derivative. We cannot use it for commercial purpose, and one cannot modify this content. So only redistribution, reading the content, get the information from that content, use the content for their teaching learning process. So this is the table which explains that how we can use it for commercial, and that how we can create the new content from this licensing. What will be the compatibility of using this content? For example, if one content is declared as a OER, and the same content can be reused for the other purpose also. For the left side of this table, all the licensing are here, and right side in the top, the same licensing is there. For example, CC BY, if the content is declared as CC BY, this can be compatibility, this can be modified and use it in the CC BY NC, CC BY ND, CC BY SA, and so on and so forth. But we cannot use it is in the public domain, because public domain license, if one can declare as a public domain, that means they say that there is no credential, no. But CC BY says that there should be a credential. We have to provide credential to the author. So when the content is available under the CC BY, we cannot modify the content and declare as a public domain. So that is a condition here, but other licensing we can use it for it. Similarly, for non-commercial purpose, we can declare as a non-commercial Sarah-like, and also ND material. So these are the compatibility table. One can see that whatever the declaration, when you are going to modify, it should be compatible to the other licensing also. So this table is very important for creating the new content using the OER content. While using this CC BY licensing, one should consider the following issues. That is, no registration is required to declare the license for your work. So there is no registration fee or registration. One should go and register in your site to get the licensing. It's not there. So one can easily declare the licensing for their own content. And we have to clearly spell out the rights in terms of the material that the third party produce, or include the possibility of subsequent use and reuse by their third party, how they can use it and what type of the content, how they can modify, everything will be available when we are declaring these content. And also, if your work contains the third party, that means it's not created by you. The content, for example, image, text, chart, and you wish to distribute your work widely as an OER, whether in the person or electronically or online, then we must take the copyright clearance to obtain the permission from the third party. For example, if I want to declare my content as a OER, then the content whatever I have created should not have the copyright content inside. If it is there, we have to clear the copyright from the author. So, for example, I am using one, suppose in my material, I am going to present one image which is a copyright. What is the procedure? I should get the copyright clearance from the author to use in our educational material. If the author provide the copyright clearance, then I can insert that picture in my content and as a declared as a reading material or content for teaching learning process. For example, if I want to declare that content in a OER, then also we have to get the permission from the copyrighted material, that from the author, that this content is going as a OER. There should not be objection from that copyrighted author. So we have to get the permission from the third party content before getting or before declaring the content and so OER. So that is very important. We have to see this OER. So here in this session, in this video session, we have learnt about the various educational Creative Commons license. There are 6 licenses are available. One is CC BY, CC BY SA, CC BY NC, CC BY NC ND, CC BY ND and CC BY NC SA. So this licensing one can use as long as we can provide the credential to the original creator. And then whenever we are declaring the OER content, there should not be a third party content inside the content. We have to get the clearance from the third party author to declare OER content. There is no registration for declaring the OER content. One can use that whatever the license suits to your content, suitable to your institution, that can be declared as a OER content. And the very less restrictive Creative Commons is a public domain content. That public domain licensing is not ask the user to give the attribution or give the way they want to. There is no restriction using the public domain content. So one can use it for their own purpose. There is no restriction thing. So whenever we are using the OER, one should clearly see the licensing, the condition and how to use, and from using this OER we can easily incorporate the various aspects or various new common, various content for our teaching learning purpose. Thank you.